Welcome to the AA Show. My name is Antonio Aguirre, and in this show, we talk about anything and everything under the sun. And we're gonna kick things off with our first topic, which is the Philippines ready for a 4-day work week or an 11-hour by 4-day work week? So this has been talked about already, and there's a Senate bill seeking to protect rest hours, those preventing the what we call the only work from home, because for sure employers now think that their employees are not working from home if they are working from home, right? Because they think that if it's work from home, you're just in your boxers, and that they have unlimited access to you, like anytime they want to talk to you, like, if they're asking for an email, if they're asking you to reply to your instant messaging, just because, at 11 p.m. they had an idea that they want to talk to you about with work or something they want to pass you on. I mean, I've done that in the BPO industry, wherein I was working Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday. So I had an off on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And that was really tiring for me, but that was in the actual workspace. Are we talking about the 4-hour work week, like 11 hours on a work from home basis? What are we talking here?
Well, personally, I've experienced this kind of setup wherein, just like you, I used to work sa BPO industry then, wherein we have this 4-day, though it's like a 10 to 12 hour work setup during the work days, while our rest days happen naman, but the arrangement is like on a, what do you call this, shifting schedule. So the flexibility dun sa actual workplace right now, even though na nasa work from home setup tayo and the heaviness of the workload still piles up, it still speaks to majority of the people, I guess, when I say na the work from home setup just adds a little bit more stress, a little bit more anxiety, especially nowadays, wherein you're just conscious and cautious about things that are happening.
Okay, so if you're working 4 days in a week, if you have 3 days off, are they like together, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
So, usually split.
What are your usual offs? And is it constant? Does it change?
In a BPO or outsourcing industry, the setup usually calls for like what's like the business demand. So for example, the head count that is needed for like Mondays should be like a lot higher than weekends, for example. Ayun, dun na pumapasok na you have to...
No, staff. It's staffing with regard to staffing. So those are days that wherein the queues are high. So you need more manpower on that, and then longer work hours, right? What do you think? Like if it's a non-BPO industry perhaps, like a regular 9 to 5 type of job, would an 8 to 7 work for you? Like imagine this, like Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and you're working from 8 to 7 p.m.
That sounds very ideal, at least for me. Kasi while I do corporate or like my day job, feeling ko it would be more productive on my side, and I could do other side hustles in between, I guess.
So, with the extra day off.
Correct. Yeah. So, feeling ko naman it all boils down to work-life balance. So, for example, you have that such arrangement in a work week. Feeling ko you can still do your own business if you have an IG shop, an online.
Yeah, if you have an online business.
And manage with your daily tasks at work hand in hand. Siguro maganda yon, like simultaneous mo ginagawa yung trabaho without undermining the commitments that you have with one work and another, and the ability to juggle one work from another. It's like a multifaceted skill that we're now developing nowadays.
Basta hindi na naka-burnout.
Actually, boss, I support that kasi Based from my experience na I do travel from north to south and I do that for 5 days a week. Ang stressful nung commute
Oh
before.
my God. Pre-pandemic
Especially here
commute.
in So I think it's suitable here in Philippines to have a 4-day work week.
Minus din sa transportation kasi, yeah.
Imagine most of the Filipinos travel 2 hours going to office and 2 hours back and forth.
You're working 8 hours a day, but then you take up at least 3 hours going to work and going home. So that's like 12 hours in a day wherein you're out. So you have lesser time in your bed, lesser time to spend with your family, lesser time to work on yourself. So you don't have time to work out, you don't have time to even cook food. You end up buying instant stuff or, junk fast food.
And on the weekends where you should,
You just sleep on the weekend.
yeah, you need to recover. And
So you don't want to go out anymore because you're already traveling most of the time. Right. I know how you feel.
Pero if you're making it 11 hours for 4 days, di ba parang mas hassle din. Kasi parang sa 4 na araw, 15 hours kang wala sa bahay. Almost, kung mag-travel ka. So kung 4-hour work,
So parang
work from home lang siya applicable.
Is that 11, let's say 14 hours outside? 14 hours outside 4 times a week. Is that worth the extra day for you? I mean, I don't know. Would that be something worth it for you? 14 hours out.
For me, workable yon. Like, I would have like 14 hours of like working in a day. We have 24 hours, like the 10 hours, like for me, my friends, my social life, and the other aspects of life.
Do you sleep with that? Like, I remember I used to sleep 3 hours in a day, like 3 to 4 hours in a day, working as an operations manager with that kind of shift. Like, no, I have 5 days wherein I work like 10, 11 hours in the office.
Setup, I would really give up another like a couple of hours, working hours, just to have 3 days of like rest days.
Right. That's crazy. Because I remember I worked in that kind of shift at night, and then the days off that I had, I was doing events. Working on concert events about 2008 to 2000. I was doing events. So like concerts, like I remember John Mayer concert. I was working on the concert that didn't happen, the 50 Cent concert. And then I was working on Alicia Keys and the Timbaland concert as well. And the Jabberwockies, I remember doing all those things during Saturday and a Sunday, also on a weekday. God.
We respect the hustle.
Just to make extra stuff, just to make ends meet as well. That's really tough. Doing all those at the same time.
with that, you wish you had to have a extra day for that.
Yeah, I think I wanted an extra day off just for myself. Because I have a routine when I work before. Like I woke up, worked out, and then got ready for work, and that was it. That's it. That's the only thing I could do. Nothing else. Like during work hours, I could not think of my side hustle because work was just taking up so much of my time. So siguro it really depends on the work, right? Maybe not for me, right? If it's something that you can single task, like you're doing, for example, if you're just replying to emails as part of your email support work, I think you can do something else with that during your free time in between those, right? But if you're managing a business, perhaps like in operations, like managing, maybe not so. It takes up so much. So I know some of my colleagues that are in my same position back then. They're still doing the same thing now because they could not do a side hustle. It's so difficult, especially if you have a family, like you have kids, right? I don't think it's possible. But yeah, let us know what you think about the 4-day work week. Would you be willing to swap that in exchange, for your 5-day regular 9 to 5 job? Let us know in the comment section.
I would. Absolutely.
Mahirap siguro yung for yung mga manpower work, mga
Yung
Fast food.
Yung mga heavy talaga.
Maybe not
blue collar job.
I think blue collar work, yes, like on a factory, that would work. If you go, it went straight like on Monday to Thursday, but 11-hour work because they already do overtime. Like for example, factory for making clothes, they already work 12 hours in a day anyway.
Round the clock.
Instead of paying them OT for 12 hours, you only pay them 1 hour OT instead. Because some people are really like machines when they work. Like they have a flow. So when they do something repeatedly, they can do that for like 11 hours straight. So I think that could work. Instead of doing 5 days. Yeah. Some factories, they work six days in a week. That's why they have 2 1-hour breaks. 1 hour and then 2 30-minute breaks in between, yeah.
Feel ko mag-autopilot na yung function ko noon.
Imagine if you're like putting two things together, like button on a shirt.
No way.
You do that over and over again. You should see how a factory works, like with clothes or electronics if it's manual labor. Imagine if you're the one putting shoelaces on a shoe in a factory, right? You're doing that. Right? You know that feeling when you're putting shoelaces on shoes yourself? It takes about 5 to 7 minutes of your time because you need to get it perfect, right? Imagine you're doing that every day. So it really depends on the work. So, what we're talking about here is not for everyone. Maybe for specific jobs. Let us know what kind of job would be perfect for that 4 by 11 type of shift instead of a 9 to 5. Yeah. Okay. So we're on to the next, which is we're seeing this trend. And I think this has been a trend for a while already, wherein every celebrity or every influencer has their own brand. Or they're already launching their own brand, whether it be a physical brand or a service or maybe a digital brand, like an NFT perhaps, right? Everyone is on that, like super trends on clothing, maybe for women who are influencers, makeups, right? For guys, maybe they're not just streetwear, but for example, for fitness coaches, maybe their regimen, how they do it, the 30-day workout that they sell, or any product, right? So they all have something to offer in general, like in a specific industry. Like, so you're talking about here about value versus worth. So it's like a value versus type of worth argument wherein an influencer, a celebrity who has interest in them or get attention, right? Like what I always say about attention is like it's a huge currency. I have a question for you. Would you rather have 20 million subscribers or would you rather have $1 million or like 50 million pesos? Pick one. Would you rather have 20 million YouTube subscribers, right? Like active 20 million subscribers. Like each video that you get is like 20 million. Or like 10 million views per video that you put up every week.
Walang isip-isip, I would go with the former. Like 2 million subscribers on YouTube.
20 million.
20 million, oh my God.
Or like $1 million.
Like, I don't know, your audience is already your currency, right?
Right? So, we're talking about 20 million subscribers here on YouTube.
If you have already created a community with your own niche and you have like a specific brand to yourself.
Imagine if you're like Mr. Beast, right? Imagine if you're Mr. Beast and you do the same type of thing that he does. You're making money. Let's say you probably make, 25 million pesos a month on your videos. So you probably have a budget of 10 million. He spends more than half of what he makes for the production of his shows, right? Or his content. So you spend, 12.5 million on your content. So you're making about 12.5 million a month.
Huge.
Right?
Yeah.
So you'd probably get to 50 million in four episodes. So in a month. No. In 4 months, perhaps. Right? So it makes sense that an influencer or a celebrity has their own brand.
Yeah.
Just for makeup, there's all these women are making their own makeup brands, right?
Ethics, beauty brands. But I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you think is the phenomenon behind this madness that we have over our craze sa celebrities doing a specific line, May it be like a clothing brand, makeup, beauty. Like, what about it?
No. Because they're making brands because what they're making in terms of their fame is not enough. Like the attention that you get, I mean, what you make, for example, with the YouTube subscribers or what Facebook pays you, or if you're a talent in a TV network, I mean, they pay you a salary. It makes sense that if you make your own brand based on your name, that you own it. So even if your fame is gone, the product is there. Like for example, Kim Kardashian, if she's not famous anymore and then she has all these brands, so she has a lot of businesses.
Kim's, KKW's.
I'm sure she has a multitude of brands that she owns. So it makes sense that even if you're not popular anymore, it's a brand that you probably can sell or grow, right? So it's a revenue stream. It's an added revenue stream, and you can have royalties from that as well.
But Anna's observation, in this pandemic alone, a lot of celebrities, like Filipino celebrities, have really joined, especially YouTube platform. Lahat na lang biglang, oh, wow, they're like one of the booming vloggers. When pre-pandemic, they're like artists, singers, musicians. And yeah, you were right when you said na they're about like not just the fame. Maybe it's not enough, but it could have been that it's too much. Like
when do you think it's too much?
feeling ko kapag yung mga legit na may cult feel brand to it. For example, everybody is mad about Kafniel, right? So
Yeah, they're crazy about them. Okay.
the support from fans are really overflowing, So I think na if they could capitalize a single item that they own, I don't know, it's really...
Like BTS. I mean, let's not go further already. Like BTS, they can sell detergent. They can sell Tide. Laundry detergent. It doesn't.
without doing too much.
They're selling photo cards.
Right.
I know.
I mean, they had with McDonald's. Like everyone's clicking like the tissue and everything. I mean, it's a brand. So they're making brand like from the fame of the name itself. So it's really huge. It makes a lot of sense because you need all that revenue stream for you going towards your way besides anything else that you make from the fame. If you're a singer now, you're not gonna make money based on the CDs that you sell because everything's downloadable. But if you have 20 million followers on Spotify, besides the money that you make there with the Spotify songs, the revenue, you can now sell merch, right? And then you can do a concert, and that concert will sell merch as well. That makes you a lot of money. Like, so you don't need to be under contract with the label for that. Like,
Yeah, because like,
if you have a friend that manages your merch, you don't have to do anything. You just have to wear it all the time, and that's it. Right? It's easy. So what about this? The Gucci Adidas collab. Is it bigger than, I mean, what can you compare this to?
Nike and Louis Vuitton.
Nike, Louis Vuitton.
Virgil.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great move for them because they're trying to get the other designer house because Nike already have the LVMH.
yes.
So Adidas is trying to get the other designer house like Prada and Gucci.
Well, you think Gucci is under the same label as Louis Vuitton? They are under the same.
The same house.
Yeah, they're under the same house. Even Prada.
Oh, Dior. Like, they handle up to 75 brands.
I think this is not related to that. I mean, if they had it their way, the LV house, they would still do it with Nike. Gucci Nike would be a collab. I think they're doing it strategically.
But you know what? I was following this specific fashion commentator on Twitter. Prada X Adidas, yes.
Adidas.
They were a thing before, but when Alessandro, the current creative director of Gucci, made his way into the sports luxury wear, oh my God, I think this is their strongest and toughest DNA out of all the collections they've done before, including collaborations. I think the logos did not clash. They complement really well. I think there is really a distinctive take and fresh retake on, the re-engineering of how a specific luxury brand can, collaborate with your everyday go-to leisure brand.
Actually,
Because Gucci is retro chic. That's the theme, yeah.
and with their recent release, I think they copied the track pants silhouette from Adidas.
I think so.
Gucci.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're trying to penetrate the what they call it, the luxury sporty looks.
Yeah.
Luxury sportswear. Right, that's correct.
I mean, Gucci really examined the Adidas codes of sportswear and translated them into,
High
the
fashion.
Gucci world, the Gucci gang. And if you're gonna browse Instagram, you're gonna see a lot of Gucci X Adidas saturated.
So they call it Gucci Adidas. I'm looking at the photos here from Gucci. So they have a gazelle with the Gucci with the G logo on repeat. And then another gazelle with the green and red Gucci color as the stripe. That makes sense. And then green velvet. It's one of the staples of Gucci.
That one is the very classic Alessandro with the Adidas co-branding. I mean, the jacquard alone with both logos is really good. I think the trouser, if you can see it, I mean, we can show the photos here. So I find it really more exciting. I think it mixes the classic Adidas tracksuit with the, signature Gucci tailored trouser. And I'm really sure we'll see a lot more of this from the next collection.
This Gucci suit is really nice. We'll show it in the video for sure. This one. It's like a club jacket. I feel like it's similar to like the Supreme collab that they had with LV before, but on a higher classier level because Adidas just makes more quality product as a sportswear brand compared to Nike and other brands as well. That's just my opinion on the quality wise. That's why when they make a collaboration with a high-end fashion brand, it just elevates it even further. And it doesn't like Adidas doesn't feel like a brand that it's like made in China in a bad note. I know it's still made in China. The craftsmanship of their products on their classic line. I mean, what's a classic line for Nike? If you make a comparison, if Adidas Originals has that, what's that for Nike? Is that Nike Lab?
But the one you're looking right now, that's actually what they call the signature cut of the creative director of Gucci right now. So what they're trying to do is like they want to give this rib texture, fantasy to mimic the activewear of Adidas that we're so familiar with. That three stripe line, the OG logo, the shoulder cut, this silhouette treatment. And this was really some exquisite tailoring as usual, Gucci.
So there's already some rumblings for some people. I read it here and this says many people weren't feeling the Gucci Adidas collaboration, dubbing it a collection we didn't need. However, some people are already obsessed and waiting for its release. When is it releasing?
I'm obsessed.
Okay.
It's a half-half.
I'm sure that despite these unfavorable opinions, I'm sure this collab will be handing out a lot of virtual L's for a lot of people who are wanting to get a piece of this huge collection. I mean, we're gonna have
Looking at it, it was definitely giving money. I mean, sometimes, yes, you're right. It gets to weird places with, the proportion, styling. But for the most part, it does the trick. Whoever is in charge of fabric and color standards, he's the real MVP.
And a lot of people are gonna get virtual L's here online when they try to get their hands on these. Buyers, users, or even the resellers, for sure. It's gonna be a magnet for L's. I'm not sure if I'm gonna like any of these. It's just loud for me, except for this one, perhaps. Yeah. The gazelles are nice though. It's a nice touch. I wasn't really feeling the Prada Adidas Superstar.
Same, hard same.
It's just a plain black and white.
And then how much was it? Like 10x of the regular prices. But it is what it is when it comes to high fashion collaborations. This one's a lot nicer compared to other high fashion collabs of Adidas. In connection to that, I saw this one with, I didn't know that Rihanna is pregnant.
She is.
Living in the Rock. Like, I follow Rihanna obsessively. I didn't know she was pregnant. Hindi ko alam talaga. Seryoso. Like, I follow her. I love Rihanna so much. Like, I love every...
I worship Rihanna. So, I mean, she continues to pull off like...
When is she due? This is like coming out like April.
Mid-February.
Like, okay. Oh, okay. So that's why I'm late. She only announced that she's pregnant Feb. Okay. So that makes sense. Because I see her always on Instagram and on Facebook. Okay, but I saw this one with Rihanna and A$AP Rocky's Gucci looks, and she is flexing that baby mama tummy. Look at that.
Come on.
Okay, she has this out of this world maternity look, and she pops up, like pun intended, pops up to Milan to attend a Gucci show, dressed head to toe, of course, in Gucci. And this was Gucci's pre-fall 2022 collection. She's wearing a silver chainmail hat, a latex and lace top, as well as a lilac iteration of the blue faux fur coat featured in the runway show, which she killed it. Like, look at those dragon pants.
She is delivering instantly, iconic pieces already.
Right. And of course, she's with A$AP, and A$AP wouldn't do anything less of that. A$AP, he was wearing the Gucci Adidas gloves, which was part of the collaboration we talked about. And then it's part of the fall-winter 2022 collection. So that's in advance, as well as the monogram briefcase and a pair of Adidas trainers. But I don't think this one looks like from the collaboration. So it's just a plain Adidas trainers. What are these? What are these trainers? I'm not familiar. Anyway.
She is a phenomenon. I mean, we're already obsessed with her street style from before. But now, on to her maternity, pregnancy style. She just continues to pull it off. And she is eating everyone up in her 30s,
And see, we mentioned with earlier, like, why are celebrities having their brands? Let's talk about, she has Fenty when she had a collaboration also with Puma, but she has Fenty, and then she has also her makeup brand as well. And those are, Savage, right? Those are used. Those are probably raking in hundreds of millions in revenue. Imagine if she only did with herself with just her name. That's it. Would it be much, right? As an income for a celebrity. When she goes into her 40s, that fame could, die down a little bit as you age. But then if you have a brand here and it keeps on going, targeting one market, it makes sense. It's really going to be a huge trend. And I don't think it's a trend. I think it is a business move that everyone make. When you have all that attention with you, it's just a business move that you make right when you already have all that leverage for you in terms of being a celebrity, right? I mean, you don't make a huge brand when you have like 20,000 followers on Instagram. Like, you're not gonna sell anything except you're a small niche. If you have 1 million followers, let alone 20 million subscribers on YouTube, it's easier to sell like merchandise. Like Logan Paul. Logan Paul like has a brand called Maverick. That's his brand, right? And that rakes in like $10 million at least. I saw it in one of his videos. And they have an energy drinks. And maybe a lot more that we don't even know. Maybe they sell, like THC gummies. For all I know. Snoop has though. Wiz has a brand like that as well.
Just to add with Rihanna, Savage is created around 2016, right?
I guess.
Yeah,
And
2016.
I think around 2020, they just announced that they are worth $1 billion now.
Worth $1 billion for a makeup brand in 4 years' time. So it's about 2025, perhaps.
Yeah. No, I mean, Savage X Fenty is like the lingerie brand of Rihanna.
Savage is it the underwear brand?
Yeah, the lingerie line.
Okay.
Parang it replaces what we used to know, the Victoria's Secret
The VS.
collection. She just really takes up space.
Victoria's Secret got a lot of flack already for,
Being body inclusive, sensitive, all the cultural appropriation.
that inclusivity across all sizes and gender, right? So something to look at if you're a brand. I saw here, would you get a 20-inch display on an iPad MacBook? Because Apple is reportedly working on an iPad MacBook hybrid, and I already have a 15.6-inch MacBook Pro. I haven't upgraded yet to the 16 yet. I mean, I have an iPad here, it's 12.9. Like, how huge would be a 20-inch touchscreen? Like, would you buy that if you had the dough to buy it?
If I have the means, maybe I would.
If money isn't an issue here, would you buy something like that and use it every day? 20-inch iPad. And that's one of the reasons why Apple does not make laptops that are touchscreen. Right? And that's the reason why like brands like Microsoft brands do touchscreens. It's because they're not in the game of, they're not dominating or they're not killing the game when it comes to tablets. Apple is doing that job we're in. They're not doing touchscreens on their laptops or even on their iMacs, right? Imagine if your iMac it's touchscreen, that would be awesome. But it's gonna happen in the next 5 years, perhaps.
Just imagine that you have a small monitor and it's portable.
touchscreen.
Yeah. Too much of a hassle.
Is that something you would buy? You would have to buy a lap bag for a 20-inch, or maybe put it in your gym bag instead because it's a 20-inch.
I mean, if you're so mad about joining the Apple ecosystem, if you're all about the Apple brands. Why not? But I think functionality, usage-wise, no, it's not portable. And
So I don't think we're talking about portability here. Like when you have a 20-inch screen in your hands, is it a handheld still? They're rumored to be working on a device that's featuring a large foldable display that can serve both as a tablet and a laptop. According to Bloomberg regular Mark Gurman, Apple, they're trying to call it an iPad MacBook hybrid. So it's a 20-inch folding display. Oh shoot, now we're in it. Okay, so it's a folding display. So it's like a 10-inch. So imagine an iPad Pro 11-inch, and then you fold that. I mean, you get two of those, you fold them, and then it opens up to be a screen. Apple is supposed to be in the folding game already. Like Samsung already has the Fold 3 and the other Androids. But it's just a matter of time before Apple goes into the folding game. So this is a folding screen, yeah. Like, we're not going to talk about Androids and Apple comparison. We're going to take days to compare them. But I mean, they're late in the game, but I think they're gonna come out with something really crazy, and not crazy, but in their ecosystem when it comes to this. Yeah, and I'm also waiting for that long rumored electric car by Apple. Are they working with Tesla? Are they working with Tesla on their electric car? Apple is working on their first electric car, and it's looking like it's coming out somewhere in 2024 to 25 already. And you have your Apple AirTag, which could be your key, or your iPhone would be the key to that, right? Imagine your iPhone would be your key. It makes sense because your iPhone's always with you, your watch is there with you, so you can open your door without keys.
how does this work? Like,
So you lose your phone, you lose your car.
no.
Watch, right? And then you have AirTags as well. So imagine you have a car and you already know when it's run. I'm sure it's electric, so there's no gas. So it will tell you when it's time to refill and all that. So when you're watching a video on your MacBook and then you want to continue in your car, you can watch it probably on your crazy 27-inch screen.
With some AirPlay tech that you can just swipe the videos
Right, like,
across the screen.
hey Siri, do that, do this, right? No, don't do that. Is there a product that you would want Apple to make that they don't have yet?
Really, I'm not so sure if they don't have any of this yet. But as a coffee,
in their ecosystem.
really, as a coffee connoisseur myself, yeah. So like, I would want something, brewing machine.
Apple coffee would you eat apples with, no, I'm just kidding. Eat apples with coffee? What would that be? They already have watch. Apple's not gonna make clothes. They're not in that space. They're not gonna make clothes. They're not gonna do a collaboration with New Balance. They're probably gonna do a collaboration just for the Steve Jobs memory, like a New Balance 992. Yeah, that makes sense. But they're not gonna make shoes or clothes anytime soon. So maybe it's just tech.
But who knows?
Huh?
A tech wear.
Techwear perhaps would make sense,
Yeah.
right? So they would probably work on a collab. It's more likely a collaboration with Nike because they have the Apple Watch with Nike, so that makes sense. I mean, they also do a collab with Hermes as well, so that's another thing.
Imagine voicing your jacket.
Hey Siri.
Teach me how to swim.
No.
I don't know. Crazy tech future. Maybe the VR. I mean, to combat the metaverse coming out, because maybe that's the digital future that we're looking at already. So maybe in conjunction to the metaverse coming out, something in the sphere and jumping into the virtual world. I think that's something Apple's working on next. What's that thing when we're in virtual reality type? No, augmented reality. They've been on that augmented reality works for about years now, like 5-6 years already. I think it's ripe that you'll have a virtual shoe collection, virtual collection of your clothes or your cars or your artwork on your Apple Cloud. It just makes sense. Like if you're gonna go into the NFT sphere, I think once Apple goes into the NFT sphere, I think that's gonna be one of the craziest hypes ever. Yeah. The $1 trillion company will just go, I don't know, what's next with trillion? Maybe something over that. Quadrillion. Quadzillion. I don't know. I think that would probably be next. Because I saw the Nike was against, this is another thing. Nike has a current battle with StockX. Because they don't want their shoes becoming NFT, because they have their own game as well when it comes to NFTs. Like Adidas has their own NFT now, right? I saw one with Bape. Bape has their own Bape universe, right? With NFTs. What's the argument of StockX? Why they made the NFTs? Did they mention it? So StockX has the images of Nike on their server, and then it all boils down to revenue. So most likely Nike is not getting anything from StockX here, and that's why they're trying to pull the cord on this right away, which I I think they will for sure.
I just got a news. So according to Bloomberg, Nike files trademark suit against StockX. This over the NFTs issue. So I think this is really huge.
How much are the NFTs selling on StockX anyway? I saw one for like $3,000. I mean, I saw Yeezys as NFTs on StockX as well.
So in April, the company said it was valued at $3.8 billion. Sheesh.
That's a lot.
That's why they're filing a case.
I think I want to do an NFT, not just explaining NFT, but just going for NFTs with brands, not just, creating them from an influencer with brands. I want to talk about that on another episode like this because I think that would be very interesting. We don't have anything yet here in the Philippines for that, right? Do we? Because I've talked to a few brands. They're already just working out on their ideas, but nothing like concrete yet when it comes to execution. I'd like to have an NFT expert here because we're not NFT experts here.
There's a society already that currently doing NFTs, but for brands, no.
No. I mean, let us know if you know anyone. Put it in the comment section if you're familiar with.
There are local artists.
Are there local artists working with NFT? Yeah, I know Melvin has one. I bought one from him. Big artist. I think it would make sense like X Battalion would make one just with their huge audience. Like Al James would be another one. That would be huge if he makes DBTK. No, but that's a clothing brand. DBTK is a clothing brand. I'm talking about like that makes sense too. Like, but that's a clothing brand. I'm seeing more with music and celebrities. That's what I'm looking at because it's inevitable. Like TBTK, right? Something like that. I mean, you would laugh at it, but people would buy that. Catnil photo cards. I mean, that's that's possible. That's very possible too. It's easier for musicians to do that because they can put it in their songs as a cover art, and you could buy their albums as well. I need an NFT guy here.
Yeah.
Let's invite Melvin.
Yeah, maybe we'll do Melvin, or I'll probably invite my Bitcoin manager here for an episode. I'll introduce him to you guys.